Hello. Hello, everybody. Is this, I'm not sure if I can, is it live? Chat. Okay, good to go. Yeah, I'm live. Hello, everybody. You can see me. My name is CJ GriZ. Just allow me to introduce myself. Uh, hey, Maddie. This is my daughter's here, so I'm at home. So, yeah. So my name is Christian Monias. I also go by CJ GriZ. I am an indigenous hip hop artist, rap producer. I make beats. I also teach beat making in workshops across the nation. That's among a lot of the things that I do. I also teach songwriting. I collaborate with artists all over Canada. So far, I've collaborated with. I have some stuff coming out with I'm not sure if you guys know Travis Hebert, Isla Barker. Isla's from Manitoba and Travis is from BC. I've also have tracks with Matthew Monias. We both share the same last name, which is incredible. But I'm not sure if we're related or not. But just that we have that musical connection, that's really awesome. So yeah, so if you don't know about me, my name is let me allow me to start over. My name is Christian Monias. I am OG Cree. My family is originally from Manitoba. I've lived in the Cree Nation of Chisasibi in Quebec my whole life. I started making beats very young, like when I was a teenager. I started with FL Studio. I started with rapping. I started with lyric writing, and then I eventually gradually moved on to beat making. And just that I was doing that for a while, and I didn't get really serious into it until I started with the Norwegian program that came to my community. I was back in like 2014, and then I've just remained connected with them, and now and from that, I've connected with like so many artists over the past few years, like just really getting serious into it, really doing my own things, like uh, I've really taken on my own artist, my own my own how do you say that? Really taken on my own management, like myself, like when it comes like to the artwork, to the lyric writing, to the producing, to the mastering, all that stuff. And yeah, so that's just like, and so I've just recently started releasing like singles, and I have more stuff coming out, like more serious stuff that I'm really trying to get out there. So yeah, so thanks for having. I really want to thank OLI for having me here today, so I can share you guys some tips and tricks on like how to write your own lyrics. Like, so I've prepared like a lot of cool stuff, like how to write your own lyrics. So we're gonna look at how to write your own lyrics here. Now, honestly, when it comes to writing your own lyrics, there's no wrong way to write a song. Honestly, like I don't really think there's a wrong, like it's just like like it's just how you it's just like you just have to find out like the dynamics of a song, like what's in a song, like what is a song made of, what does a song mean anyway. And a lot of people will say like a song could be like a story, or like even how like what is the structure of a song. And I'm pretty sure like a lot of you like already recognize those things. Like you guys, I'm pretty sure you guys will are familiar with like what an intro is, or what a verse is, or what a hook is. And like naturally, these things will have like an intro and outro. But we're just gonna look at like what those things are, and like also too is like how do you find inspiration for a song. Like for me it could be like listening to a beat. Like I automatically like find inspiration when it comes to like a certain type of beat I'm listening to. And it could be any type of beat, whether I'm making the beat for myself, whether I'm looking at beats on YouTube, and just connecting with a lot of artists. We share beats back and forth. We share a lot of ideas back and forth, And you know, and other times too, another underestimated one is going for a walk. Sometimes like when I'm sitting here, when I'm sitting like just in my studio, in my zone, like I'm mostly in productive zone where I just want to like make beats. You know, I'm not really like thinking of like lyrics so much. But most of the time I'll go for a walk or I'll go do something else, and then that's where like you know like when I'm out for a walk, you know, like I'm seeing things, you know, things are happening around me, and it just like gets my mind going a bit, and that's kind of like where I also find like a lot of good inspiration of how I find my lyrics. So yeah, let's also let's look back what I said a while ago, like what are lyrics and like how do they like I'm pretty sure you guys like are familiar with poetry too, so that's pretty much like how a lot of lyrics are written as like as poetry. Like poetry and lyrics can like go back and forth, and they're very interchangeable. But you know, let's look at let's also like the dynamics of the song. Like I'm pretty sure you guys have heard like what bars are, or if you're already familiar with music like terminology, like what beats and bars are, and the timing 4/4, and yeah, those are just things that you have to like kind of like you should just like know a bit before like starting to write lyrics. Like I'll show you like an example of some lyrics that are written here. These are let's check that. I have a bunch of here. Okay. Uh, wait. Sorry. I want to really want a good example. Um, just want to one that's okay. Excuse me. I'm taking a long time looking at these. Um, feeling way up. All right. Here's like just how I like some song structures. This is a song that I'm like currently writing with my friend. His name is Matt Mac, and he sent me a beat that like where I created these loops, and then I sent him the loops, and then he came back with me with like these really incredible beats. So we have this song where like if you look at the lyrics, like how the structure is like, see how like they go by line, and one of those lines could be like considered a bar. But like what some people get mixed up is they think that like a sentence means a bar, but like sometimes like but it's not exactly the whole sentence. What it's a timing of it. So like that whole thing, this whole sentence right here fits into that bar. So if you think about the timing 1 2 3 4, like 1 2 3 4, that whole sentence fits into that 4 bar. That was my daughter. She sneezed. Yeah. So you see the lyrics I written here: living the life and you already know, up on the top we was down on the low. So so the song we wrote is called We Only Going Up. So like I'm trying to think of lyrics that like where I'm like, you know, like I just like things that relate to like going up. So like I talk about like you living your life like in the low, where it's just like a common theme that I always talk about in my lyrics, is just like, you know, being like that's where that's another thing about like inspiration of how I come up with my lyrics is like I always come up with like things that are based off my feelings. And I know a lot of people like can talk about things that are like very political or things that are happening in the news today, but for me it's like for me it's always like based on my feelings, because like it's always been like that. Like the songs that really relate to me are always like about feelings. And a lot of inspiration I take from is like people like artists like Kid Cudi, or like artists like Juice World, where it's all just about feelings, and like how like you know, especially like what a young person goes through. You know, like a lot of people deal with, like a lot of young people these days, you know, they deal with like stress and depression and anxiety. So a lot of times I'm talking about like those type of things. So you know, like that's why I think, you know, like where I'm trying to like think about lyrics where I'm like either trying to uplift people. So that's where I'm always talking about like things that are like either happy or like really sad. But you know, like there are other times too where I'm like like where my lyrics could sound like I'm talking about a story, and that all depends on the type of music I'm writing too. Like most of the times when I'm writing, like because like I'm not sure if a lot of you listen to my music, but like I make a lot of trap music, and but sometimes I go back from like trap to like more like old school hip hop, and you can really hear it like how like I have those two different styles, and like where like where if I'm like doing the where if I'm writing something for trap, I'm like mostly writing like and it sounds like I'm singing a bit too, but where I'm rapping, and I know a lot of people rap like especially like because I've been in a lot of schools and a lot of people rap, a lot of students rap, and a lot of them hide it too, you know, like a lot of you don't know it until like they really like show it to you. So I know a lot of you students out there, you guys like to write, and a lot of you are secret about it, and that's cool because I was exactly the same way. But you know, you gotta just embrace those qualities about yourself, and really really build up on those, you know, because like so like when I started out rapping, you know, I used to keep it all to myself, and then when I started showing people, they were like, "Oh, you sound good," and then I just built on that like that feeling of like, "Oh, this guy liked it, so like I got to do it more and more and more and more." So you know, just like progressed that way. So yeah, let's look at this. Let's look at these notes that I have here for like songwriting again. How to write your own lyrics. Yes, CJ's process. So yeah, so like we were talking about, this is about like a visual, like this is how I represent the bars. Like you see like these white lines here, they represent the bars, but the dots inside them represent the beats. Now in musical timing, like in popular music, it's always going to be 4 on 4. But if you look at like other genres of music, like probably like dance or like heavy metal, you won't get those like normal timings. Like even in like some country music, it could be like 3/4 or like 5/8 or something, and those are just the timings, you know. And if and also another thing you have to consider is tempo. So tempo means it's like how fast that's traveling from this side to that side. And if you think about tempo, if you think about like I guess a simple way to put it would be like the way I always look at it is like a clock. Like a clock is a 60 BPM. It goes around. It clicks 60 times in 1 minute. So that's just like that's 60 BPM is 1 minute. But so 80 BPM means that it would click 80 times in 1 minute. So that's a good way to look at it. So those are just like some timings that you also have to look at when you're like either you're rapping or when you're making a beat, is you have to look at those type of timings like 80 like 70 to like 90 bpm. That's like a really like smooth hip hop or r&b, and then you start getting faster like 110 to like 120, then that's like more like edm dance, and it could just get like faster and faster like that. And also another good trick is to think that like 60 bpm is like the same as 120 bpm. So let's look at these verses again. The structure of like song lyrics, like a verse. Now that we know bars and beats, now how does that help us know what a verse and an intro is? Like I'm pretty sure you guys have heard like people that rap, and you know they're always like, yo, spit that 16, you know, like where's your 16? And what that means is like where's your 16 bars? And you know, 16 bars, it means that like a verse is typically 16 bars. Sometimes it could be like 8 bars, could be like 8 to 16 bars, but typically a rap verse would be about 16 bars, and a hook, a chorus. And if the hook chorus could be like 8 bars. Now, if you want to know the difference between what a verse and a hook is, uh, like like what I like to think about, like the verse is like it talks about like what. Now let's talk about the hook instead. Like, what's the hook? Like, I'm pretty sure you guys like if you guys like listen to like songs, and like usually the hook is like the title of the song or like the main thing that's about the song. You know, like like Despacito, and like every time he says Despacito, that's the hook. So, but then everything that's about it, like the verse will tell like the whole story of about it. So like the hook is like the most repetitive. That's why it's called the hook, is because like it hooks you in. So that's what you got to just think about that when you're writing, like your hook is like your main idea, and then after that, like then your verse will be like talking about like everything that's like about that. So well, some other parts of the songs could be like a breakdown, and what that could be too is it's usually like a different part of the song that's like not, it doesn't sound like the verse, or it doesn't sound like the hook, but it just like it brings the whole song to another level. And that's just like a more like you'll notice that in like a lot like bigger produced songs, or like songs that like have like really good writers. But like typically like a lot of rap songs that I write just have like a verse, a hook, and that's it. So so yeah, those are what was that? I think that's yeah. So like if you look at like how like, and also too, there's like usually there's no like there's no rules on like how where you put them. Like, see, like I made this like just a visual of like how a song could be structured. Like you have like a little intro that could be like 4 bars, and then the hook, sometimes the hook could begin first, but another song sometimes the verse begins first. And those are the, like I said, those are the parts that they can, it can go either way. It can be like a verse hook, or a verse or a hook verse, and then then it comes, and then a verse again. Sometimes you'll have 2 verses, sometimes you'll have one long verse, or sometimes you'll have like 2 hooks. Then you have like the breakdown will be like a variation of the hook, where it's kind of like like we're just, I'm not sure like you guys heard like Adele, where like just like where it's just like start singing louder and louder, and like there's like the song just goes like really crazy into production mode, and then it calms down. It's kind of like a story. Like the climax would be like at the breakdown. So those are just like some of the like how I envision, like when I'm writing my song lyrics, is just like that's how I structure it. But like, yeah, typically I'll sometimes I'll always begin with like with the verses, or sometimes I'll begin with the hook, and it'll go back and forth. Yeah, so like I said, how do I find inspiration sometimes to write a song? Like sometimes it could begin like simply just by like humming a note. Like it could begin like, I remember one time I was in a classroom, and like this the one of the teachers we were working with, she just started like doo doo, and that like became the song. That became the whole song. It was done. But like we went from there. We built up from that. We're like, okay, now we like, and a lot of tricks we used to like get the students to write lyrics was just like asking them questions, or like we came up with themes, like like light or dark, and like just what that meant to them visually. And then we tried to tie that in with like experiences and stuff like that. And those are just like some of the tips I use to write my lyrics. mm, I just okay, yeah, I'm not sure if I have questions. That's all good. Yeah, so those are just some of the stuff that I like to think about when I'm writing my lyrics. Um, so another way that I come up with inspiration too is like I like to play piano. I'm not a really good piano player, and I used to have a guitar, but I don't have a guitar anymore. But like, if you, even if you're just like being like very basic with it, like you're just playing like very minor or major chords, just as long as you like come up with a little pattern, and then like over that pattern you feel something. Is like I was saying before, like I'm always like using my feelings to come up with my lyrics, and then I tie those like feelings into like my experiences. like like most of the time, I like a lot of my lyrics, I notice I always talk about like when I was younger, and I compare like how it was when I was younger to like now. And that's just like those just sometimes like comparing things of like how I came up, or how like things that I've gone through, and things that made me feel really sad, or things that made me feel really good. But like I always and then also too is how you tackle those things, because sometimes like I could sing those things but also could rap those things. And when I'm rapping, like I'm pretty sure a lot of people know how to, like I'm pretty sure a lot of people like know how to rap. So like this is just some like some stuff like hold on. I have some lyrics here that I wanted to share, and just so you can get yeah. Oh, this one, yeah. Okay, this is a song that I made. It was it's called "Good Times," and this is another one where I, like I was saying, where I talk about like how how I just like look back and reflect on things, and that's how I that's why I like. And this one I talk about like friends who have, like that, I guess that's what you could look at the theme is. That's why it's called Good Times, and like I tie that into like friendship, and like how like friends have gotten me out of like tough situations. And that's kind of like where the song, that's where I feel like the song is going. And it's not really finished, but here's like a verse. It's like it goes, "You I'd never let down, knew one day that I'd get it. And if I ever made it, damn for sure give you the credit. They need some reels, the homies with the deals. The yo, I got the wheels, homie, let's go out and chill. And I never forget what you did for me back then. Ain't no loyalty as trust comes a long ways, no faking, no bread, no bacon, not a good way to awaken. And if I'm not mistaken, we once lost all our patience because of days spent in the basement while we chasing payments, while we working hard and they out there on vacation. And I'm just trying to feel it out and put them to my vibes. I don't want to feel the drama when I ride." So that's just like where I'm, like I said, I'm just talking about like my friends that have like gotten me out of tough situations, and like looking like, they were there when like nobody really else was. And that's where I like, because of days spent in the basement. Well, like, and like just I just like I go through like a lot of like rap cliches too, like, like talking about like being broke, talking about like not having money. And I also like kind of like for me, like because like a lot of rappers, they like to talk about having money, but like for me it's funny because like I talk about like not having money. I talk about like being broke and stuff like that. And that's just like, like like that's just how that's just like my angle on it, is like, oh, a lot of these rappers are talking about like money. Like I never experienced having a lot of money, but like, like I'm just gonna take it the other way, and I'm just gonna like kind of talk about like days where like like where I don't have money and stuff like that. And that's just like, those are just like my very creative ways of like how I tackle like lyrical ideas and stuff like that. So yeah, yeah, I just wanna that's a lot of like pretty much what I've prepared for today, and I just wanna thank you guys for having me here and letting me share my creative writing process. I have a lot of different processes, like my beat making process is another one that I could share, but that's another like that would that's another really like part of me that's just I could share with you guys. Yeah. Yeah, I just want to thank you guys for having me here. And yeah, my name is Christian Monias, CJ Grizz. You can follow me on Instagram, on Facebook. Just type in CJ Grizz. You'll find it anywhere. My website, cjgrizz.com. I'm also on Spotify and on Apple Music. Just search CJ Grizz and I'm there. So yeah, thanks for having me, guys. It's been amazing sharing my experiences with you guys.